Hi, I'm Emma Kelly. I'll be presenting on Fenty Beauty, which is a market leader in the beauty industry. If you don't already know much about the brand, I'll just go into some quick background information based off the Market Line case study. So Fenty was launched in September 2017 in New York. It was founded by Rihanna, who is a singer, artist, entrepreneur, among many other things, as well as being part of the LVMH group, which is a luxury goods company. So Fenty actually won Invention of the Year in 2017 by Times Magazine. It's been heavily known for its inclusive marketing approach and has really paved the way in the beauty industry. The agenda of my presentation today will begin with a SWOT TOES analysis, where I'll discuss some of the internal and external factors of Fenty and strategies as well. After this, I'll speak about the segmenting, targeting, performing strategies of the company, and then following with a social media evaluation. As you can see on this slide, I have an overview of the SWOT TOES analysis and factors and strategies I'll discuss in depth in the following slides. Fenty Beauty's main competitor is Kylie Cosmetics, which I'll discuss in further length in the positioning strategies. But in terms of internal factors, one of their main strengths is that they did have a stronger sales turnover than their rival. So they achieved 5 times greater revenue in their launch month. And they also generated an approximate $570 million in their first 15 months in comparison to Kylie's brand, which only had a $420 million turnover in their first 18 months. In terms of weaknesses, Fenty Beauty falls into a category of high-end designer makeup. So their pricing factors may be perceived as being unattainable or having a higher markup than the quality that they're believed to be. So in regards to their external factors, first being opportunities. So the industry in which they're defined in, the cosmetics industry, is booming. So as of 2018, they had a 5.5% increase in comparison to the previous financial year. And the market was projected to expand with a compound annual growth rate of 2.3% during 2019 to 2024. And it was perceived to reach a value of $36.5 billion. On the other side of this, the external factors of the company is facing threats from COVID-19, as many other industries currently are. It's definitely affecting our economy at large, and the cosmetics and personal care industry does rely heavily on direct-to-consumer methods, which has been jeopardized due to a lot of businesses having to close their doors. What's next for Fenty Beauty? In terms of their strengths and opportunities, I've identified that there's a number of strategies they can use going forth. So skincare is one of the fastest growing market segments within the beauty industry, and they've seen a higher demand from younger consumers for skincare as well as natural products. So there's opportunity to win the loyalty of 73% of consumers who already purchase or demand for their products to be sustainable. Fenty already have a number of sustainable practices, and they also have an initiative being the Carla Lionel Foundation, which 100% of their product sales go directly from certain products to education, health and emergency response all around the world. In terms of their weakness opportunity strategies, the brand represents inclusion, which is strongly captured throughout their marketing campaigns, as well as throughout their mission statement. They do solely focus on the diversity of women and don't mention certain people within that group. So that's my question is there diversity and inclusion gap that they could be tapping into? Men is definitely one, being that men wearing makeup has definitely seemed to be more of the norm these days, especially with social media, as well as for low-income earners such as students who can't afford to buy high luxury cosmetics. They could be creating products that are more attainable for these people. In terms of strength threat strategies, the MarketLine case study acknowledged that 59% of women valued trying new experiences over trying new products. With that being said, direct-to-consumer methods have been the key to Fenty Beauty's success in prior years, but obviously during these unpredictable times, the threat of COVID-19 has resulted in more people shopping online. With that, we saw 34.9% increase of year-over-year sales. Luckily for Fenty Beauty, they do have activations and an online presence in place as well. They do still see a lot of consumers shopping through their online store, hence why they have the Fenty Face Shape Finder, so they're able to identify what colour people will be, so they don't actually have to attend a store to try. And lastly, for weakness threat strategies, there needs to be bridging of gaps not only in diversity, but as well as the rapidly changing environment. So there's demand for further research and energy put into improving the online user experience, which is pivotal during these times in order to succeed through this pandemic and beyond. So brands need to focus on care and connection through these times, with particular focus on consumer preferences, employee feedback and support, and innovation adaptation, as those are crucial elements of any brand in identifying and ensuring that the customer journey, as well as the employee journeys, is successful. Moving on to segmenting strategies, so I'll acknowledge all elements being demographic, geography, behavioristics, and psychographics. So starting with demographics, Fenty Beauty has been acknowledged to cater to an undervalued marketing segment, which hasn't been acknowledged by other beauty brands in the past. So they have an extensive product range, which you can see in the graph next to us, and they provide more colour options for people with different skin tones. In doing that, they've used social media to represent this inclusion, as well as really targeted millennials, as they're the ones that are using social media the most. In terms of geographics, the face, the brand, and the founder, Rihanna, is renowned all over the world as an artist, as well as everything else she stands for. So with that said, they can market the products all over the world, as it will get traction from different countries. So with that being said, they ship internationally to over 100 countries, as well as being available in Sephora stores around the world, as well as Harvey Nichols in the UK and Ireland. For behaviouristics, I mentioned before that their consumer values new experiences versus new products. Hence why it's important to still keep activations live on their social media and online in order to attract their customer, which is a variety seeker. So it's someone who is looking for a certain product, and they're willing to have a look what's available in terms of benefits, prices, many things. So hence why it's so important to have that the brand has a loyal customer base, so people go back to purchasing. With that being said, personalization is key, which they have achieved by having such an extended range of products and attracting that inclusion through their marketing campaign. For psychographics, Fenty Beauty is a cruelty-free brand. They do have a number of vegan products. However, this might be something they'll consider extending in the future. Obviously, due to an increase in consumer awareness, which I mentioned in previous slides as well, consumers are valuing natural products, sustainable packaging, and other green elements of cosmetics, which has been found to be successful by a number of other brands as well. So, yeah, they're definitely doing their part, but that could be a way that they could segment their consumers further. The Fenty Beauty targeting strategy aims to target someone between the age of 18 to 40, with women being at the forefront of their brand marketing. In terms of this, they also are heavy social media users, so they do use a lot of social media to market this consumer, which I will talk about later. The person would also have varying levels of makeup skills, so from beginner to advanced, and they're also very likely to be a Rihanna fan, so part of the hashtag Rihanna Navy. And in that case, welcome to the hashtag Fenty family. So in terms of a persona, I am ideally someone that Fenty would attract. I'm 22. I am definitely a heavy social media user. I'm on all platforms, particularly Instagram being one of my apps of preference. In terms of my varying level of makeup skills, I don't have advanced skills, but I do enjoy makeup, and I want it to be something that is easy and obviously matches my skin tone, which I'm sure I can find a colour in their range, seeing as I have been a Fenty Beauty purchaser in the past. So next to me is a perceptual map of the different brands, which is characterised by high popularity and high price. Fenty Beauty has been sat with its main rival being Kylie Cosmetics, which are both high popularity, high price brands. With this in mind, I have made it in regards to the target consumer that I just mentioned before. In terms of what would be recognised as a high price brand but with lower popularity with that group, it would be MAC and Dior. Next to that, being low price and low popularity, I've listed Revlon and Avon. In terms of their competitors of being high popularity but a lower price, is Maybelline and Benefit. In terms of their social media, I'm going to evaluate a few elements that are regimented in the way that they campaign. Obviously, first being inclusivity, as well as meme culture and the face of Fenty. Starting with inclusivity, I just want to recognise that companies with a higher racial and ethnic diversity within their campaigns are 35% likely to have a higher financial return, and as they should, as they are representing the real world. Fenty Beauty have a hashtag Fenty Face, which they use throughout their social media platforms in order to showcase this diversity of their consumer, as well as their representatives, and it encourages interaction across consumers and the brand. Meme culture is very apparent in the way Fenty Beauty brand themselves on their Facebook, Instagram, and as you can see, their Twitter account. They've acknowledged the use of one of their products in a funny way. Memes can have a very strong impact on branding. So they've been known to assist brands but also jeopardize their reputations. It completely depends on the discourse of the post. In terms of utilizing meme culture, which I believe Fenty Beauty has done very well, it instills a sense of relevance, creating a sense of community. So you see a lot of people tagging friends or interacting with the brand through creating and posting memes. It's also seen to be an expensive. I'll lastly be discussing the face of Fenty. So the face of Fenty is Rihanna, who is the face behind Fenty as well, being the founder. The branding for Fenty has relied very heavily on her personal branding, given a sense of all these different elements. First being visibility. It's using her platform, which she has over 80 million followers. She's been able to promote her brand. She does so in an authentic way as well by posting videos of her using the products in everyday scenarios. There's also consistency throughout her posts, as well as the branding posts too. She incorporates stories by telling accounts of using makeup as a child, to instill beliefs within their consumers too, and as well as being an expert figure as well. She's someone that people look to in the makeup look she's done on the red carpets, etc. And in that, it's created the value proposition and developed a lot of connections and networking as well. Based on this analysis, I just want to mention a few recommendations. The first being for brand extensions and product line extensions. As I mentioned, having more sustainable options, vegan options, as well as promoting to that gap that I mentioned, being low income earners as well as males. During these times as well, they can take it with them to do more online activations to still connect with their consumer, who obviously values that customer experience over the product, as well as that just supporting and engaging online during these times, as I mentioned, and beyond. Thank you.